At the peak of his career, Kevin Hart operated as the undisputed king of millennial comedy. His cultural footprint was so massive that Dave Chappelle dedicated a stand-up bit to the professional jealousy of watching his own son fan out over Hart. But his recent output tells a different story. Hart is currently mired in a slump, churning out a steady stream of critically panned, algorithm-driven projects released directly to Netflix. He is now 47 years old, operating in an industry where internet-native creators and TikTok comedians dictate the current rhythm of humor. Hart's longevity as a leading man rests on his ability to move past his familiar routine and close the gap between his legacy brand and modern comedic tastes. This brings us to the premise of his Netflix movie, 72 Hours. Hart plays a 40-something advertising executive who accidentally gets lumped into a group chat for a Gen Z bachelor party. Instead of bowing out, his character crashes their Miami weekend trip, treating the young men as focus groups to harvest content and save his career. Critics reviewed the production as a deeply uncomfortable mirror, a script that inadvertently highlights the exact career insecurities Hart is currently navigating. The fictional plot of 72 Hours accidentally functions as a perfectly accurate, real-life documentary of Kevin Hart's own strategic struggle to stay relevant. In the movie, the inciting incident happens when the protagonist's younger coworkers dismiss his latest advertising campaign as cringe. Desperate for their approval, he tries buying his way into their good graces using extreme wealth, footing the bill for a mansion and supplying a Lamborghini. Behind the scenes of the production, Kevin Hart executes the exact same playbook, attempting to purchase cultural relevance by casting the internet's most viral young comedians. He anchors this effort by bringing in Marcelo Hernandez, tapping directly into the current heat of Saturday Night Live. By surrounding himself with rising SNL talent like Ben Marshall and Cam Patterson, Hart constructs an audience capture network. He positions himself in the center of this ensemble, siphoning their organic relevance back to his legacy brand. The fictional character's desperation to market research 20-somethings on screen is perfectly aligned with the studio's algorithmic casting approach behind the camera. Injecting fresh Gen Z talent into an exhausted 15-year-old hangover-style formula creates an immediate clash of styles. The script forces these new comedians to navigate completely tired action cliches, like a mandatory run-in with a mysterious cartel boss played by Andy Garcia. They slog through rehashed set pieces involving stolen jet skis and a loud, prosthetics-heavy Scarface gag that feels totally out of date. Throughout these scenes, Hart's signature loud, flailing delivery constantly collides with the deadpan, absurd humor that made his younger co-stars famous in the first place. Reviewers noted the film actively wasted its young talent, shoving sharp sketch writers like Ben Marshall into generic roles that completely ignored their comedic strengths. Plugging a new generation of comedians into an old cinematic framework doesn't update the formula, it just highlights how broken the formula is. By the end of the film's second act, the protagonist's attempt to manipulate the Gen Z friend group blows up in his face. In reality, Hart's attempt to siphon that SNL viral heat blew up with critics and audiences in the exact same way. As the reviews suggest, siphoning the relevance of younger creators is not the same thing as evolving a legacy brand. The supporting cast brings modern, deadpan sensibilities that grind violently against a script written for a 2010 slapstick era. For Kevin Hart to reclaim his comedic throne, he must organically evolve his own brand, rather than wearing the youth of others, leaving 72 Hours as a tragicomic cautionary tale.